And I'll hand over to Patricia. Welcome everyone again.
Thank you, Sarah, and you did all the hard work, so it's very little for me to do other than also say welcome from my side. For those on the call who don't know me yet, my name is Patricia Hatterich. I'm one of OLS's co-executive directors, and I will be chairing the session for the next about 50 minutes. We're going to hear from three wonderful community members and then, as Sarah said, have some time for questions or a shared panel discussion afterwards. And our community members are great in the sense that they make it very easy for me not to butcher their names. So first up, I'm handing over to Saya, who's founder of datajourneyhq.com, and will do a proper introduction with proper pronunciation and introduce their OLS journey.
I'm gonna try and see if I can share my screen, please. Okay, grant access. No, that means I might quit and then join back. If that happens,
Let me make you co-host just in case, Saya, that is a problem. So try again now, just in case.
Okay. Here we go. The saga continues.
I think we should
I
blame.
have to drop out. I think if it's feasible, the next speaker could take up because I might take a few minutes to join back.
That's
No
okay.
problem at all. You were saying?
Oh, I was coming in with important notes, which is that we should blame Sarah for saying we didn't have any technical glitches.
I jinxed it.
Okay.
We also didn't do a full tech run. That's the one thing we didn't do, have everyone share their screen to make sure that that was working. But yeah, let's try that again. In which case, Doaa, are you happy to give it a go? And that means our first speaker then would be Doaa Abdelkader. I managed. I'm stumbling. I managed in the trial. Okay. And again, like Doaa, just introduce yourself with a proper pronunciation, seeing as I'm constantly failing at this.
The best time you said my name, Patricia, don't worry. Thank you, everyone. And I will share my screen right now. You can see my screen now? Good.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Let's make it a full screen. And here we go. Yeah. Hello again, everyone. And I will introduce to you today my OLS journey. And first, let me say who am I. I am Doaa Abdelkader. I'm graduated from Ain Shams University, took a bachelor degree and a master degree from Cairo University. Also, I'm a specialist librarian for research service at the British University in Egypt for 8 years right now. And I'm the founder of Open Science Community Egypt since 2023. Finally, I was a resident fellow at OLS for Nebula program as a marketing lead. That's all about me right now. So let's talk about my OLS 7 journey and how it's all started. It's all started in 2023 at OL 7 as a mentee and with my mentor, Michael Landy. Our objective is to create an open science community in Egypt and learning and exploring everything about open science communities, identifying the community and what we can offer to the researchers community in Egypt and raise awareness about open science. We settled all the objectives together and make the vision and mission. We created a a GitHub for our community, a GitHub repository, as you know about that. Also, we launched our community website after that. We became a part of ENOSC communities, and we launched the Open Science Community in 2023 at September, and our objectives was to raise awareness of open science in Egypt and its main concepts, providing training and resources in the field of open science, encouraging the use of open science in research and education, finally enhance researchers' work and boost the efficiency of their research efforts. Now I will take you in our journey from 2023 till the end of 2025 and what we have achieved till now. Our first meeting with my team, I have two co-founders, Minna and Yasmin. It was in March during the OLS 7, and our first volunteer, Yusuf, joined us in August. And after that, the launching event was in September 2023. And we have two collaborations in these years with DataSite and Montefiore University here in Egypt. Also, we joined our first conference, Forum for Open Research in MENA, and introducing our community to the MENA region. In 2024, we became members of Forum. Also, we had our first workshop on ground in the British University in Egypt Library. And we have also a bunch of collaborations to provide workshops. One workshop was very specific about open labwares. We have a collaboration with Egypt Scholars to introduce our community. Also, we had a workshop with Forum again talking about open science, and we became part of a peer community. Also in 2024, we joined the Egyptian Library Association conference, and we provide a presentation about open science and how it's benefit to researchers. And we had a certificate from Forum for our membership. Also, we have attended a bunch of workshops, and our co-founder, Yasmin, graduated from Nebula program in collaboration with NASA and Open Life Science. In 2025, we have a great achievements actually. Our co-founder Minna graduated from the incubator program by ENOSC, and we have new volunteers and our first ambassador Ahmed. Also, we provide an research data management workshop with Arab community for social science in Lebanon. And I attended the Open Science Retreat in Switzerland, and also participated in Rosa community. It's an Arab community for open science, talking about open science. Also, we participated in the Forum Again conference as in a roundtable in collaboration with Saudi Arabia community, Open Science Community, and Iraq Open Science Community with Dr. Batul and Dr. Silwan. And we also participated in the Open Access Week in New Giza University and the Arab Association for Knowledge Management, and provided workshops about open science. And a huge collaboration between Bibliotheca Alexandria and Asrin community in Jordan. We participated in a workshop about the foundations of open science. We have a presentation about how to build a capacity building in open science. And finally, in late of 2025, we participated in the 36th conference of the Arab Federation for Library and Information Science with a research paper about the challenges of the open science communities in the Arab world. And we took our open science community Egypt as an example in this research paper. This conference was held in Qatar. So in conclusion, we had 585 participants in our workshops and conferences. We provided 10 workshops, 6 conferences, and 15 collaborations nationally and internationally. Also now we have 7 volunteers besides the founders, so we are 10 now in our team. Here is some snippets from our team in providing the workshops in Alexandria and Qatar conference. That's all about Open Science Community Egypt. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doaa. All the emojis coming in. That is really impressive. It's a lot of networking and attending events. That is a great track record. Folks, if you have any questions for Doaa, please pop them into either the chat or directly into the Framer pad, and we're gonna pick those up at the end of all the talks. This is not my 20th meeting today yet, but still ability to talk is not quite there yet, but thank you so much, Doaa. And second attempt, second time lucky, hopefully. Saya, are you happy to share or try again the sharing? Yes, that looks good. Awesome.
Yeah.
And
Allow,
please.
give all the permissions. Privacy is a myth. Okay, it should be okay. Can you hear me well?
We
And
can
see
hear
my
you.
slides?
We can see your
Perfect.
desktop, not the slides part yet.
Ah, come on, Zoom. Third attempt. I should do. Let me know
Yeah,
if
that
you can
looks
see the
good now.
slides.
That looks
See the
good.
third attempt.
I'm gonna hand over to you.
Lovely. Sounds amazing. As you can see, I'm Sayantika Banik. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm a founder at Data Journey headquarters, which means there's lots and lots happening all the time, and it's the responsibility and the shared care I tend to believe in from the community, and that's what I'm bringing here. My journey with OLS and open source has been an intersection. Open source has been part of my life. A decade is what I remember, but I'm pretty sure it's been way before that, and I don't have written records or recollection of what it felt and could feel like. But I'm pretty sure I have been intersecting in all those areas of code, community, and care. And this is a big word cloud, not very big, but I was able to pull most of the wonderful communities and interactions I have been having since about a decade. One being not just the code part in 2019, working with Django Software Foundation, being in the board, and also working with PSF in their DNI initiatives. With Our Ladies, I see Reba here, so I'm very happy to see her. Working with the team in there and understanding what it looks like and feels like to work with languages and communities together. And of course, open life science also came as one. I was invited as an expert speaker, and that was a part that I contributed. In person, I got to interact with a lot of mentees in the program and saw what it feels like to have a shared understanding of a community of open science and the responsibility that it brings all together. And in the slide, you can also see a lot other uh, part and prospect that I contribute, not just as a developer, but also more on the sides of a reviewer person, also helped in building a scholarship platform with Tapia and reviewing their proposals for good about 2 years. A lot of this work has been hidden. And when I got to know about what I have been doing since a decade, this session also helped me to understand and collate all of these together and present what it feels like to be an open. So it's definitely not a straightforward journey. It has its ups and downs and it curves. And if I can say I just do this, that this has a lot of layers to it. And over the years, I came up with Data Journey. This has been a shared platform where not just data but I got to introduce with students. I built a platform to help enable others. And Data Journey came in about 2022, where I was presenting at StackConf Berlin, and it was just merely, hey, I have a GitHub repository open to everyone. Please go there, look at my code, and that's the demo I have. I had zero plans to make it what it is now, or even do any work later post the conference. I had a stable job. I didn't want to leave that good little paycheck. No big plans or anything associated there, and it was just what I was hoping to bring to the people as something I cared. Fast forward 2 years of turning this little tiny side quest of mine into a lively platform with tools, contributors, a lot of shiny vanity metrics like stars, clones, everything to define that it is something which is important. Getting a tiny fund from GitHub itself and putting Data Journey on the global map of 71 important projects that are actually securing the global open source at scale. This was also a turning point where I realized that projects and and tiny initiatives which are governed could also become something that I pursue full time and give it all. And now, today, I can very confidently say this is pretty much all I think about, all I work with, and how I also got to meet a lot of brilliant maintainers and developers globally. There's a lot. I'm currently in Nepal and I have hosted around 3 workshops teaching how to build the systems, how to design systems, and the community in here is vibrant. I have done in Vietnam, Indonesia, Southeast Asia predominantly, and also back in States. Altogether, I can fairly understand and have a deep appreciation of what open source can do. It connects people, no matter the language, no matter where we belong from. It is a amazing way and a feeling that we have. And since we are in this session today, I can definitely say we all share the same value. OLS, and I wanted to keep the slide way in the before, but then I'm like, I need the story, and then how OLS also brought the shared care about believing in deeply the strength of community. Though that was the only interaction I had with the community, I was on the Slack channel. I was also looking at the shared GitHub repository and connecting and having a lot more conversations with the community members itself. And that also gives you strength to continue believing in this work, which is unpaid. maybe never gets paid, or it's good to do, and the care that you can bring in from the community itself is amazing. And finally, I would end by saying that it is a messy journey and it's painful, and not to sugarcoat, but it takes time to build something which is sustainable and grounded. And thank you. I think that is about it. And I'm happy to take questions now, later.
Thank you so much, Saya. That was amazing. Just for your awareness, I think we lost you for like maybe 30 seconds or something. Your internet didn't like glitched a little bit, but I think like people still get the message and are agreeing hard on the part that it's difficult, but worth the struggle, I think. Folks, if you have additional comments and especially questions, please pop them into the shared notes document. But before we get to questions, we have one last speaker. Joyce, are you ready?
As ready as I will ever be.
Over to you
All
then.
right. All right, let me share my screen, and can you guys see that?
We can. They look beautiful. Please go.
Thanks. Okay, first I'd like to thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity to share a bit about my journey with OLS today and also beyond. So first I'd like to share a little bit about myself. All right, so I'm one of the co-executive directors of the Digital Research Academy. Regarding my relationship with OLS, I was a mentee in one of OLS's early cohorts, number 2 to be exact. And after I finished the early version of the Open Seeds program, I've been a mentor and/or an expert in almost every other cohort afterwards. So how did I come to know about OLS? It's actually a funny story, starting with a happy mistake. So back in the day, I was a co-founder of a Swiss early career researcher association called Open Innovation in Life Sciences, or OILS for short. And back in the day when Twitter was a thing, OLS accidentally tagged our account instead of their own. We had very, very similar Twitter handles. When we, as in OILS, figured out what OLS was, we submitted an application for help with building the OILS Association, which we alluded to when we responded to the accidental tag on Twitter. You can see here. And when I say we, I'm referring not only to myself, but also to my OILS co-founder, Tina Ambrosi, a then PhD student at the University of Zurich. And I was I don't know, I think a postdoc at the time. So we entered the OLS program in 2020 with the hopes to put the OILS Association on a good foundation as we were setting it up. So OILS is an ECR-led organization that creates awareness of open science among early career researchers in the life sciences through public discussions, courses, and workshops, and also an annual conference. They're still a thing today. They still do the annual conference and everything above. So, check them out and to see what they're doing. So with Tina graduating at the time, and also with my imminent move beyond academia on the horizon, we knew we had to figure out how to keep OILS running without us. So we came into the OLS program and had all these grand plans of grant funding, business collaboration, so on, so on, so on. But the Open Seeds program is not very long, so we set a small goal during the program to build a wiki. Here it is. To try to solve just the issue of knowledge permanence in an organization. So while building the wiki during the OLS program and officially establishing the OILS Association in Switzerland with drafting up association statutes and opening up bank accounts and things like that, what became abundantly clear to me is that building a sustainable organization has a lot of moving parts. It was not enough to just have passion for a cause. Your cause, you need a good code of conduct to establish how people should interact with each other and you in the community. You need a plan broken down into achievable strategic steps to grow your organizations. These were all topics that were covered in the OLS program. However, what we also realized quickly, which started with the wiki we built, was that organizations need things beyond that. You need infrastructure, not only for knowledge permanence. You need things like email addresses, websites, file storage. You need to think about how to do marketing to get your message out there and to recruit new members for your organization. Furthermore, when you become a legal entity, you all of a sudden need to think about things like finances and taxes and complying with business regulations. Now, the latter topics, I knew I didn't know, and Googling only did so much, and I'm old, so ChatGPT wasn't around to ask, and even if it was, sometimes the answer it gives are not so accurate. The point here is that I realized I had knowledge gaps that I wanted to fill. So moving beyond the OLS program and OILS, I got a business degree to learn more about how to operate a legal entity. I also gained experience in EU grant management as a project manager for a couple years. And through OILS, I met my DRA co-founder, Heidi Zeibold, and we've been building the Digital Research Academy together. Yes. DRA is first and foremost a network of expert trainers. We create customized training experiences in the broad research or broad topic areas of open research practices, data literacy, and research software engineering. It started as an idea in 2023. We tested the business model based on Heidi's own freelancing business and wrote a lot of strategy and planning documents. In August 2024, we incorporated as a GmbH in Germany, and by the end of 2024, we had trained over 500 people in that entire year. Not since incorporation, but for the entire 2024. At the beginning of last year, our core team expanded from just Heidi and me. So we started growing with our first hire and are currently at five core team members at DRA. And then by the end of 2025, we just calculated these KPIs. We found out that DRA had trained over 1,000 people, and we had grown to over 50 trainers in our network. So I feel like these days I've come full circle with OLS because in 2023, we applied for a grant together with OLS and ended up getting it. Wow, which means we have been collaborating with OLS on the OSPARK Bootcamp. OSPARK stands for the Open Science Promotion and Advocacy for Research Knowledge. Our goal is to empower the open science community by developing learning materials and training focused on marketing and outreach. There are a lot of great open science initiatives out there, and we want to help them get their work seen. So the OSPARK Bootcamp is 2 parts. There is a 6-week online part followed by a 2-day on-site for hands-on training. You can still apply for the first bootcamp starting in March by scanning this QR code here. And you can also access the free email course that's a part of the bootcamp already by scanning the QR code up here. If you can't make it to the first bootcamp, that's okay. We'll be having 2 more this year, 1 in the summer and 1 in the fall, and the on-sites are going to move around Europe. So, and there are going to be some stipends associated with that if you need support to attend them. Anyways, to close, what I hope you take away from my story is that OLS is not just a program you participate in for a few months. It's a place where you learn how to think about impact, people, and sustainability. What started for me as a happy mistake on Twitter turned into a journey of learning how to build organizations, support communities, and eventually come back full circle as a collaborator. So with that, thanks for your attention, and I'm looking forward to the following conversations after this.
Thank you, Joyce. You can see in the chat that we got a little bit of a nostalgic about the times where Twitter was good and actually a nice place to hang around and meet cool people and collaborate with them. Yeah, old times, and I think nothing has fully replaced that
Those are the
yet.
days.
Yeah. Folks, please put up your hands using the raise hand function. That's the right word. if you want to be on record asking our beautiful speakers a question. If not, I'll dig into the questions that you've dropped in the Etherpad, grammar pad, notepad.
I'm willing to break the awkward silence.
Please go for it, Yo.
One for every single speaker here. We've seen some journeys. Like we've seen you go from early to growing to learning things. Occasionally we've seen you say, "This is hard, but it was worth it." So if you went back to early on in those journeys that you were sharing, each of you, and you told the you of early on what was happening now, what advice would you give them and what would they think?
I think I can start a little with that feeling I can share is patience. One thing that I have learned and grown to learn, at least in from like a contributor mindset to building a business mindset, things take time. It won't have the instant gratification version that I was kind of used to when I had a day job, and versus the transition that I've been having. And nothing is, you can plan, you have strategy, you can learn, but at the end of the day, you are someone who are making those calls and decisions. So also be kind to yourself. I would also tell the younger Saya, uh, be kind, be gentle on days when things doesn't shape up, and be also sure to celebrate the days when it's good and not just take it for granted because those are rare moments as well. Those would be my few cents to the younger version of me a decade back.
That's pretty good, as always. Yeah, good recommendations and easy to forget in the moment. Joyce, Doaa, any of you? Anyone wants to go first? Shall I pick one?
I can go first. That's okay. I went last time for the talk, so I'll go second this time. I jotted some notes down for myself. So what would I tell my younger self? I think I would tell them that life is going to get really hard. I mean, it's going to get really, really hard, but it will work out in the end, and you will meet some really amazing people on the way. And I would also tell them to get your personal finances in order. And I'm saying this because I think it's really scary to do a thing like quit your day job, like your secure income, and just go do a startup that you don't know if it's gonna work or not. So I think, yeah, I mean, think what Heidi and made me do, but also I did myself, is really just look at where my finances were. Really look at like options of how to fund myself while building something new and seeing like if I can quit the other thing that was sucking up so much of my time and energy and mental health that I was doing at the time to really just focus on building the thing you want to build. So yeah, I feel like that's probably the advice I would give to myself back then.
It's hard, but very reasonable adulting. I think like I probably understood the meaning of pensions when I quit a job and basically went into God knows what's next. And yeah, it's a steep learning curve, but worth it to have the independence and agency to do things on mainly your own terms and actually do the stuff that you care about. Doaa, what would you tell the person that joined OLS trying to build an open science community?
Okay, it's all started by chance with a call from Sarah, and I didn't know anything about open science in this time before started OLS 7. Just finished my master degree about research data management and don't know what to do. And it came to me by a phone call. So yeah, and yeah, Sarah Al-Gibali was one of the first persons who helped me to start all of this and make me know OLS and joined OLS, and it was scary and I'm afraid to start. I was alone without any team at this time. And then I called Minna and Yasmin. Hello, you have to join me to start all of this. And yeah, we are all scared to start. It's will go viral in Egypt or not. We don't know anything. It was a blind vision, and it was hard to start also, but it's came now viral. Many people in Egypt know us now. Many people called us to have a collaboration with them. And if I tell myself something is not too scary, you have the encourage to start over again and again.
That's beautiful. I love that. I also love hearing the take the opportunities when they're offered to you. Don't do it alone. A lot of that I'm hearing is basically drag another person into this so you don't have to figure things out by yourself, which is one of the things that OLS loves to do. And we have two directors because leading a company by yourself is scary, and none of us would do it by themselves. So yeah, teamwork all the way. Does anyone want to voice another question? If not, I'll go into the from the pad. I think we have an interesting question in the pad that is a little bit along the lines of leadership that we just talked about and directed at Saya. Someone picked up your beautiful quote, "Stable job, no big plans," and how you basically did really interesting things from there. So what advice would you offer to people who accidentally end up leading their own initiatives this way? Is there any reflections you have on that?
A great question. And I would say one, it starts with this inner intent. It would be somewhere down inside, it would be hidden because of all the external aspects, finance, emotions, life, A to Z, all of those characters. And post that, there would be some trigger moments and milestones that comes on your way. Being there, giving that talk itself and doing that demo, there was a lot of feedback that was coming at me. And hadn't I been responsive to those, I wouldn't have taken the next step of actually making it into a real framework and doing the work and putting the work next. So be open to the clues that comes along the way. It could be in form of feedback. It could be in form of tiny LinkedIn post, or if Twitter was good, I loved it as well. Oh my gosh, those days are gone. A post from someone, a comment, those tiny clues, don't neglect them, collect them, and make sure if it's an open source project, I tell everyone who I meet, have those metrics associated with it, like who is looking, who it is getting benefited to, are there issues that are helping, are there communities who are picking those up. Those timing aspects as well helps to understand, can I take the next step? Do I have enough of these data points as well as intent associated with it to push through it? And you will do it if we, and there is a beautiful community like all of us right now in this call who are more than willing to support you in your journey if there are initiatives that you want to take, and I would be personally very willing uh, to support you, not just by words but also by actions.
Thank you so much. That's really good. People, you don't have to wait for me to raise your hands if you have if questions come up while people are talking, please put your hand up. But we have another really interesting question in the pad that was initially for Doaa, but I think can be applied to everyone. And what's one recommendation you would give to people starting a journey similar to yours, and especially in making community effort sustainable? I think we have a lot of community managers on the call, and they might be intrigued to hear some more thinking of how you build community and make sure that stays healthy and potentially even grows. Doaa, do you want to start on that one?
Yes, sure. My first recommendation is not starting alone. Starting with a team is make it easier and healthier in the same way. You have to share it, the problems and challenges together, so you have more than one mind to think about the how to solve all the problems you will face, how to plan ahead to build the community, and also have more volunteers over and over by the years, make it easier by distributing the tasks between each other. I think it's make it easier to grow in a good way and faster.
Yes, we like that. Like bringing people in, giving them work, and keep them around. No, just Joyce, do you have any additional insights from building, well, a small core team in your business, but also like building a community of trainers that you can keep going? Is there any insights from that you would like to share?
Well, I think I just like to riff off of what Doa just said about not doing it alone and not starting alone. I put a comment there, plus 100, if I could. I don't think the number's big enough on not starting alone. But I think it's not only about work distribution, but it's also about skills distribution, because you're one person and you have this much knowledge about certain things, but you can join forces with other people who have that much knowledge about certain things. And so together you essentially can build like a team that has all the skills you would need to do the community building, right? I think it's really nice to be able to not have to do everything and fall back on people who are either experts at the thing that you need done, or the community needs done, or that have like way more passion than you to do. So, like for example, like I do social media marketing. Sometimes we did it very early in the beginning. Heidi and I did. But at some point it just felt like a chore. But then actually our first employee that we hired, her name is Ankita, and she has a passion for well, we hired her to actually do administrative work, but she happened to just also have a passion for social media and is just really good at it. So we're just like, you take it. You take I'm not fighting anybody for this, but I'm so glad and I appreciate your presence and your passions. But yeah.
Yes, find someone who enjoys the task that needs to be doing as a very, very good strategy. I'm gonna go for one last question. Again, it's one that has been put in the pad directed at one person, but I think it's a good one for everyone. And I know it's a hard one to answer because I think most people struggle. But from the journey that you all have just presented us, what's the part of your work that you are most proud of? And I know it's a difficult one. So if any of the three of you want to go first, and if someone has a good answer, please do. If not, I call on people. Saya, go for it.
The part that I think not proud is like a side effect of actually having this euphoria post that, and the euphoria comes when there is a value at the end of that associated workshop, the part that's being done, or the interactions I have, and much of it comes at the later stage, maybe a couple of months down the line, a workshop or a conversation that enlightened some kind of value in someone, and they were able to take another step in their career, life, and the choices they make. And that makes me really happy. And also, I give myself a pat, and probably that's the side effect of being a proud version of myself. I don't know if that answers it, though.
No, I think it answers it, but it's also, I think this is very much OLS community members. You're more proud of what other people are doing based on talking to you than the stuff that you are actually have done yourself. So I feel that very strongly. Doaa, Joyce, what are you proud of?
Okay, I can go. Actually, it's not one thing, but the feedback we get every time we get down the stage since we started to join the conferences and workshops on ground. People come to us and give us a good feedback about how we explained it well and how they understood what is open science and what's it all about. And they took our emails, phone numbers to have future collaborations. I'm really proud of that. We have many people now uh, trying to contact us to have a collaboration in the futures, and their feedbacks makes our future plans to have a complete picture for open science communities.
Nice one. Yeah. Joyce, what are you proud of? Most proud of?
This is a hard one to answer. I'm not sure my answer is like as glorious as okay, so I guess the thing that I'm most proud of is learning accounting. Um, because I think it's kind of a silly answer, but it's actually I'm proud of it because it was hard. That was hard, but also my mother is an accountant, and it actually brought me closer to my family. Doing doing a startup and doing like building a new organization actually brought me closer to my family. Um, I have more things to talk about with my mother, about like balance sheets and financial sheets and how to do accounting, but I also like with doing becoming my own boss essentially. I've also created space and time to spend more time with my I'm able to now with my family.
I think that is a good way to bring it back from accounting and to like basically sometimes those things enable us to do the really important work of spending time with cool people, which I would say this last 55 minutes has definitely been for me. Thank you so much to our wonderful speakers, Saya, Doaa, and Joyce. Thank you, Sarah, for putting the whole series together and making it easy for me to just show up and do some sharing of wonderful talks. Thank you all for spending the time with us and our community as valued community members. It's lovely to have you here. Um, we have another exciting round of talks coming up next week, Tuesday, same time, whatever time zone you're in. So please sign up for those or make sure you catch up with the recording if you can't make it. But yeah, thank you all wonderful people for sharing some OLS love and see you around soon.
Thank you, everyone. See you.